So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. Today I want to tell us a story, a true life story. It is a story of love, fate, loss, of tenacity and survival. It is a story that will cause us to reflect on life, on our choices, destiny, and the incredible resilience of the human spirit. It is a story laden with plenty of lessons that I need us to take from. It is the story of EUCHARIA ANUNOBI.
My names are Apostle Dr. EUCHARIA ANUNOBI.
EUCHARIA ANUNOBI is a Nigerian actress, filmmaker, television personality, and Christian evangelist. She was born on the 27th of May, 1965, to the family of Mr. and Mrs. Felix ANUNOBI. She is an indigene of Mbisi in Imo State, southeastern Nigeria.
I'm proudly Igbo anyway. I'm from Mbisi.
EUCHARIA was born and raised in Lagos State, Musa Yaradua Street in Victoria Island precisely. She attended St. George's Primary School in Falomore and then got her secondary education in a military college, also there in Lagos. EUCHARIA was born really privileged. Her father was quite wealthy. He was an admin manager for about 6 major companies in Lagos, organizing expatriate workers in and out of the country.
Yes, my father was wealthy in his own term. My father was what they call the administrative officer of more than 6 companies here in Lagos. There's Universal Packaging, there's Workman Exploration, there's Gemini Industries, a lot of companies. 6, he was the one who was in charge. In short, it was from him I heard the word first time expatriates, because he used to deal with the people that he was in charge of, the employees of foreigners that were coming into the country. So he's the one that's in charge of their salary, in charge of everything, payment and everything, sacking and deportation and importation of, so he was a big boy, he was a big man in his own era.
But just like many homes back then, the household was ran on a single authority system. Her mother had no say and her dad was very strict. He didn't let her have any friends. It was the driver taking her to school, from school back home to high fences and padlocked gates. Her only companion became books.
Growing up, my father was very strict, so I really didn't have friends. So my friends were books.
So from a very young age, she began exhibiting a flair for the arts. She would play dress up, act out in front of the mirror, dance for hours and drown herself in books. By the time EUCHARIA finished secondary school, she already knew that she did not want to toe the path of a very formal and highly regimented course and career. She wanted to study a course that could further project and accentuate the potential that she was already seeing in herself. But her father had a different plan for her life. He wanted her to study law and become a lawyer, and that was final.
My dad was insistent that I do JAM and do law. So he was even actually like filling the form, it must be law.
EUCHARIA had no interest at all in law, and maybe fate agreed with her, because when she took the JAM test, for those who aren't Nigerians, is a compulsory test that people take to gain admission into university. So when she took the JAM test to get admission to uni to study law, she scored just 6 points below the cutoff mark for law. She waited and took the test again the next year and scored just 2 points below the cutoff for law.
One was 6 points below, one was 2 points below.
She had lost 2 years trying to gain admission to study this law that her father had insisted that she must study. Time was passing, and so she decided to go to a polytechnic first, the Institute of Management and Technology, the IMT in Enugu, to get a diploma while still trying to gain admission into the university. Her father kicked against it viciously, but she went anyways. Before we proceed, just a quick reminder that if you are new here, you're seeing my gorgeous face for the first time. If you've been watching us without subscribing, don't forget to. It is the easiest thing that you can do to show that you are a loyal, committed member of our channel and that you love and enjoy what we do here. So please hit the subscribe button. It is just out there. If you love what you see and if you enjoy our content, give this video a big thumbs up. Drop all your thoughts down in the comment section. This video will come with plenty of lessons, and stay glued for we have so much more coming your way. Don't forget to grab a copy of our book, The Unbroken Spirit. It is a wonderful resource for every single and married person as it relates to relationships and marriage, especially when it comes to abusive tendencies. There are options for soft and hard copy. If you want the hard copy, it is only available on Amazon. Scan this link to get one, but if you need any clarifications as to anything, please do not hesitate for a second to mail us info@nezemasterclass.com. Gracias. When EUCHARIA got into IMT, she began pursuing her artistic side. She contested for the Miss IMT beauty pageant and won.
Of course, I became the beauty queen.
She was in IMT for about a year plus, took the JAMB exam again, and gained admission to study English at the University of Nigeria, the UNN, in Nsukka. When her dad heard that she applied to study English, oh God, he was beyond livid. He had insisted that it was either law or nothing. English? What rubbish! He washed his hands off her and told her to her face that after all, what is a girl child? Nothing. A nobody, irrelevant. A girl child had no value to a family. Is it not just for them to get married and leave? A total waste of money and investment. And so he cut her off and disowned her.
So that's how I read, English. Of course, my father was against me. He didn't want me to, he was like, nah, that's not what he wanted, A thing of displeasure for him. And then, from that secondary school, he was like, he's not interested in my education. As a matter of fact, what is even a girl child? What legacy would they leave? After all, they're only going to get married. And, so therefore, he's cutting off from me.
Despite being so wealthy and affluent, he refused contributing a penny to her education. She had to see herself through school as a very young girl.
So I would say I was a rich student because I made money to finance my schooling and everything.
Now, EUCHARIA was not only intelligent and audacious, she had something that stood her out from the crowd. Her looks. Towering at almost 6 feet tall, with flawless glowing skin and a striking cat-like eyes that could stop traffic on a busy Lagos afternoon. EUCHARIA ANUNOBI was impossible to ignore. She possessed a rare combination of beauty, elegance, confidence, and charm, and this opened doors for her in the world of modeling.
I looked at myself in the mirror, 5'11" beauty. I know that, bros, if I go for beauty contest and I win, because I was once a beauty queen, and I was modeling, and I'm still modeling. And when the fashion show thing was so prevalent in the Nigerian society, there was no fashion show that that was done that I was not the leading model and the one that what they call the first leg of the show.
EUCHARIA began modeling to train herself, to see herself through school, gracing runways and opening some of the biggest fashion shows of her time.
I had that spark, I had that, the flair, and then all the fashion designers, did like me.
But modeling wasn't the only part waiting for EUCHARIA. Something else happened. One day, a friend of hers called her and said, babes, why are you limiting yourself to modeling? You're so beautiful, you are eloquent, you have a strong presence. Why not try acting? EUCHARIA had never considered acting. She used to see Genevieve or Motola Jalade, Hilda Dokumbo, and the rest of them on the screens, but she never imagined herself as an actress. But she did give it some thoughts and decided to give acting a chance. Her first movie role was in the famous Nneka, the Pretty Serpent. No, not the remake that you guys must have watched, the Gen Zs. There was an original one back then in the 90s. That was her first movie role, where she played the Ezewanye. It was just a scene or two in the whole movie. Now at this point, she had just wrapped up her university program, did her NYSC, that's her compulsory youth service, at Agege there in Lagos State, and wanted to continue in the acting profession full-time. After completing her NYSC program, Eucharia did something really remarkable. Now, despite having been left to fund her own education without any single support from her father, as a mark of respect and honor, she took her discharge certificate. That's the certificate you get after completion of the NYSC program. So she took the certificate and presented it to her father to formally inform him that, Daddy, I am a graduate. I made you proud. Her father heaved a sigh. Whew. And he said, okay, since you refused to study the law that I wanted you to study, and you have read this one, I will help you get a corporate job. Let me call 1 or 2 people. I'll fix you up in a 9 to 5.
When I had finished youth service and I brought my certificate back, remember my father didn't want to have anything to do with my education. He was like, okay, since I refused to want to do law, then let him help me to, with employment.
You do not want to imagine the reaction when Eucharia told him that what she wanted to do was go into acting. All hell was let loose. Immediately, her father lost it. A profession for dropouts. Oh God. For scallywags, prostitutes and non-entities. Oh, I have always known that you are useless. That you would amount to nothing. You are a lost ship, a disgrace to this family. He grabbed her, locked her up in her room for months, incarcerating her in her own home. She could not step out of the room. She was locked up. They were passing food to her like she was like a common criminal in penitentiary. Her father said that he would not let her out until she rescinds her decision to act and agree to take on the corporate job. She refused.
It was like, okay, I should fill the employment letter so that I can work in the office. And I refused.
After 6 whole months held captive.
So for 6 months, my father locked me in the house. When I mean locked me in the house, he locked me in my room. So for 6 months. So my mom will be crying and they will give me food like a prisoner in my own father's house.
When her father saw that she would neither break nor budge, he did the final disowning and cutting off, severing all ties and all bond with her and declaring her an outcast. In 1996, some months into her acting career, Eucharia saw an audition for the movie Glamour Girls Part 2. She didn't bother with it because she believes that the main characters will naturally be carried over from the Part 1. And since she didn't want to play Waka Pass, so she just let it go. She didn't bother going for the audition, as fate would have it. Few days later, she got a personal letter mailed to her P.O. box. I know you guys are, nowadays what we deal with is Instagram DM. Back then, letters were being sent. P.O. boxes were working. And the letter was from top Nollywood producer, Neck Video Links. And the letter said something around, "Hi Eucharia, I want to see you come to my office by 10 a.m. on so and so day." Now, if you do not know Neck Video, Kenneth Nebwe of Neck Videos was one of the biggest Nollywood producers at the time. He was responsible for some of the best home videos then. Movies like Died Richard, which featured Tony Umes and Tom Njemanze. Fugitive, which had Ramsey Noah, Genevieve, and even Rita Dominic. Even this movie with Andy, Kenneth Okonkwo, what's the name? That popular Andy movie with Kenneth Okonkwo, they were all from Neck. So he was a top shot. And when Neck calls you as an actor, you don't just answer. You run with your heels touching the back of your head. Eucharia saw this letter late. It was sent weeks before, but she somehow missed it. She was supposed to have met with him by 10 a.m. that day, and it was already 2 p.m., almost 2 p.m. She ran from Ikeja all the way to Surulere.
Entered moto. I ran to Surulere, from Ikeja.
But by the time she got there, it was already 5 p.m. and he had left. Kai!
They said Chairman had already left.
Early momo on Monday, she resumed at his office, nervous as hell. When Kenneth Nibwe arrived and she walked into his office, he told her that every single cast member for the movie had already been gotten, but they have been trying to get an alluring woman who will play the role of Anita. He gave her the script, gave her some time to read it, and when she performed it, she put on her best show. Right there and right then, he asked her to state her price. It was an open offer. An offer was given. Contract was immediately signed. It was like a dream. And so shooting day came. It was the famous bathroom scene with Zach Orji.
Oh, please keep your eyes the other way. Come on. Here. Please help me punch my bag. Don't steal a glance.
Now, long before Daddy Zach began rubbing 1 or 2 creams and following Tinubu up and down, Daddy Zach was a fine, cool actor with full beard like this. So in Glamour Girls Part 2, Zach Orji, who played the role of the man whom Eucharia stole from his wife, was also married in real life. And playing that scene, oh my God, it got him really uncomfortable. He wasn't just vibing to it. He was so rigid, so stiff, so awkward. Ha!
So when we're doing the that bathtub scene, Uncle Zach, as it were, was not being completely flexible. He knows that, Uncle Zach, you know that.
Kenneth Nibwe had to call Eucharia to a corner. He was like, this scene is about to be ruined. What do we do? What do we do to loosen him up? Eucharia knew she had to do something, and she knew just what to do to get Zach relaxed and make the scene natural and believable. Spontaneous and out of the script, slithering like a snake, biting her lips with those sultry cat's eyes. Eucharia raised one leg. Bam! Tsukbasaya Nelu shoulder Zach. Forgot her leg on the shoulder of Daddy Zach. Chai! Daddy Zach's eyes rolled back. Zakadapia. He lost it. He forgot about his wife and kids at home and embraced the scene. Daddy Zach. That scene, ladies and gentlemen, became the very highlight of the whole movie. And that movie became a massive Nollywood hit and is widely regarded as one of the films that helped put Nollywood on the map. The movie Glamour Girls Part 2 became the turning point in Eucharia's life and career, bringing her into major stardom and spotlight and introducing her to millions of people all across the world. From that moment on, there was no looking back. Eucharia became a producer's delight. Movie roles and offers came flooding in. She became one of Nollywood's most sought after actresses. Her role in that movie took her to London for the first time to receive an international award.
And that movie took me for the first time to receive my very first award in London.
And when she got back, she took the award straight to her daddy. Oh, a daughter and a father. A bond hard to explain. Despite all the previous rejections that she has suffered, in spite of her success and her fame and money, she still wasn't happy. The little girl in her still yearned for daddy's approval, for daddy's validation. She went to him and presented the award. the plaque to her daddy, tears in her eyes. She said, "Daddy, see, I have become successful. Acting is now taking me all over the world." Goosebumps filled her father's body. He heaved a deep sigh. Whew. And for the first time in many years, he looked upon his daughter. He looked at her with pride. He told her to kneel before him, and then he laid his hands on her head and blessed her.
So eventually, when Glamour Girls became a hit, I went to London. Of course, all these things I did without my dad's consent. I was just pushing. And eventually, when I went to London, brought my first award. And I came back home. I said, "Daddy, this is my award. I know I didn't do what you wanted me to do, but you can see I didn't bring this honor to the name." For the first time, he looked me in the eyes and said, "Kneel down." So I knelt down. He took sand and put it in my hand and said, "I bless you."
Wow.
And that was the first time my father blessed me and hugged me.
And anywhere and everywhere he goes to, whenever his daughter appeared on the screen, he would jump up and scream in delight and pride and say, "That is my daughter."
He didn't pay my school fees. He didn't pay my school fees. He didn't support me. And then finally, he blessed me. He said, "As they can't count the sand, they will never be able to measure your glory."
Wow.
So that's how my father blessed me. And then it was then that he was, when he tells people, he now said, "Don't you know who my daughter is?"
Yeah.
She's my daughter.
So sorry.
Please.
Well, EUCHARIA was the star. She was featuring in movies back to back, from Benita to The Last Burial to August Meeting. Oh my God, she had become one of the most successful and most recognizable faces in Nollywood. Quickly before we proceed, for those who do not know, we still have a storytelling master course. For those who are interested in mastering the wonderful arts of storytelling, I have a well-packaged program for you that will teach you a lot from the basics up. So scan this code to access the course, or you can make recourse to the links pinned in the description box and of course down in the comment section. If you need assistance with anything, please mail us masterclass to info@nezemasterclass.com. And don't forget to enjoy our wonderful stories on our folktale and history channel, African Folktale and History with Neze. Let's proceed. Around 1999, EUCHARIA met a man called Charles Equal, an Igbo man from Abia State. Charles did not measure up to EUCHARIA on so many parameters: financial success, social status, career accomplishments, name it. He wasn't even educated, nor did he have a steady and viable source of income. But what he lacked in substance, he sure made up for it in charm. He was tall and had a smooth tongue and a remarkable expertise in the other room. EUCHARIA fell very, very hard. When EUCHARIA took Charles to meet her family as the man that wants to marry her, her parents had serious reservations about Charles. They saw things that she couldn't, or should we say wouldn't, see.
I met my late son's father. Unfortunately, my parents didn't find him completely worthy. They felt he was not that academically sound for me.
They advised her. They begged her, warned her, counseled her not to marry him. But EUCHARIA was already into depth, blinded by wild sexual intimacy.
I liked everything that he used to do to my body. He was good. He was good. It was wonderful. I couldn't think. Nobody could take me out of his hands.
She bullshitted her parents' advice and went ahead on her own with the relationship. Now listen to this part. EUCHARIA had the AS genotype, and when Charles checked his, he also had the AS genotype. She told him that they couldn't go ahead, but Charles, oh my God, he put on a show. He collapsed, crying, begging, promising, swearing. Her fate, we would never have a sickle cell child. Most people like us, AS and AS, get married and successfully have children that are AS, not SS. I will always love you. I will always have your back. I will always be by you. And no matter the circumstances, I would die if you leave me.
I think I told him that my genotype is AS because I've always known from secondary school. So I did ask him to go and do his genotype test, as it were, and he did. It now happened to be AS. And that's when Anna said, no, we can't continue this relationship. He convinced me and said, baby, no. He believes that things will turn around the other way and that he doesn't think we'll have SS, that he is also trying to check that some people can get lucky that they have a baby and is I need to be AS and not SS. That please, I should not leave him. Where is he going to start from? That he loves me so much, blah, blah, blah. That he'll be there, he's never going to leave. He convinced me and we continued.
Remember that I had mentioned that he had a very sweet tongue, sugar mouth. He managed to convince Eucharia, and so she ignored her parents' warnings. Without a traditional marriage, no bride price was paid, no church wedding or blessing was done. On the 20th of December, year 2000, she followed Charles to the Ikoyi registry there in Lagos and there got married legally without her family. He subsequently moved into her home and there began a family. The very next year, on the 31st of January 2001, there welcomed the baby, a beautiful bouncing baby boy whom they named Raymond Chinomso Ekwo. They were so happy. Before Raymond turned 1, he fell seriously ill. She took her son to the hospital and after a series of tests conducted, it was discovered that he had the sickle cell anemia disease, and that marked the beginning of years of pain, tears, endless hospital visits, sleepless nights, emotional trauma, and medical battles. Immediately, Mr. Charles discovered that their child had the sickle cell disease and saw the responsibilities involved. He changed, quickly turned against his child, and of course, the mother. All those sweet words and promises and fantasies turned into vapor, vaporized. He became constantly upset and irritable. The child would be having serious crises. He wouldn't show care or even go where the child is. Hated the child.
Just before my son was 1 year, he fell ill. I took him to the hospital and checked his genotype. They said he was SS. I started the battle of my life. Charles turned against his own son.
Eucharia was doing everything to keep the child well and alive. Late nights, spending money, administering medication upon medication, running from hospital to hospital, cooking special diets. Remember that I had mentioned that he didn't have anything doing financially. He wasn't capable financially. So while she was solely responsible for all the bills, the upkeep, the financial load and burden and stress, the nurturing and the care of the home and the sick child was also her sole burden to bear. She will go to work from morning till night to get money and still come back home to a very sick child to care for.
I had to work. I was the one taking care of the bills. I was the one paying the rent. I was the one doing everything.
The man grew increasingly angry and frustrated. It wasn't long when physical abuse joined. He began beating her. Domestic violence, infidelity. There are reports that he either made sexual advances or began sleeping with their 13-year-old help. She kept enduring, praying for the marriage, praying for her husband, because at this point she had rededicated her life to Christ. So she was a staunch born-again Christian. So she was taking everything to prayer.
I still held onto the marriage, believing that it's all right, we'll be fine. But instead, he will be going out.
On the 26th of November 2006, 6 years into the marriage, when the baby just turned 5, Eucharia was at work, shooting on a set, trying to bring in daily bread, when Mr. Charles packed all his things, all his bag and baggages, and left the home left the marriage, abandoning her and his son, saying that he cannot deal with a child that is sickle cell.
I remember I went to Lekki to work one time. My son was just about 4. His own cousin had come to live with us. Her name is Noye Chinoye. She called me and said, Uncle is packing his things. So that's how Charles Eku packed his things and left and said, he can't deal with a child that is SS.
She couldn't believe her eyes. She couldn't believe the reality that was dawning on her. For 2 whole years after he left her, she waited, she prayed, she believed. She never slept on his side of the bed. She left the remaining little personal items that he didn't go with, hoping that he will come back. He promised her that they were in this together, that come what may, he got her back. He didn't even file for a divorce to give her closure. He never asked about his son or sent a dime to support in his treatment or upkeep. He just abandoned them and moved on with his life. After waiting for him to come back for 2 whole years to no avail.
I didn't sleep on the side of his bed that he normally sleeps. For 2 years, I never removed anything in the house the way they were. For 2 years, I left his pictures, I left his clothes, his slippers, the few things he left, I left them there for 2 solid years.
EUCHARIA had to be the one to bear the burden of filing for a divorce in courts.
I had called my lawyer, Barrister Michael Warner, and that's how he started the proceeding for the divorce.
And so there she was, alone, left single-handedly to bear, carry and suffer the consequences of a decision that 2 people made. She devoted the whole of her life, her time, her resources to her son, trying to ensure that he lives. Running from pillar to post, herbs after herbs and leaves after leaves, every day midnight prayers, bone marrow transplant inquiry, fasting and praying, eat this and don't eat this, drink this and don't drink that. One prayer house after the other. Oh my God, she suffered.
I spent millions on hospital bills. I went everywhere that I could go to try to save my son. I started reading, I started studying, I started making research, I started looking for ways and anyhow to save my son. I wanted to do bone marrow transplant. I wanted to do stem cell, replacement, just anything just to save my son. I went to Ireland to try to do bone marrow transplant for my son so that he could live.
And the Lord showed her mercy, because from the ages of 7 all the way till the child turned 14, he never had crisis. He was doing good. If you see him, you wouldn't even know that he had the sickle cell disease.
As God will have it, you won't believe it, from 7 to 14, we didn't go to hospital for crisis. He didn't have crisis. It's just normal malaria once in a while.
But tragedy will soon strike. On the 22nd of August 2017, what is that? 9 years ago, when Raymond turned 16, EUCHARIA decided to take her son for regular checkup. He wasn't ill, but someone who's with that kind of health situation needs some frequent checkups. So she took him to the hospital for the doctor to just take a look at him. And when she got there, the doctor asked her when last he got blood transfusion. She said that since he was 3 years old, that he has been fine. He hadn't gotten a blood transfusion. And so the doctor advised her that they should get one. It's good for him just to, boost up. Of course, she took the doctor's advice and she went to pay for the blood. And as she did, the doctor instructed a student doctor to transfuse 3 pints of blood to him. Now listen to this. Instead of a transfusion, the student doctor conducted an extraction and removed 3 pints of blood from the child, from a sickle cell child. Before EUCHARIA could return from where she went to pay, the healthy child she walked into the hospital with his 2 legs had turned yellow, critically jaundiced. Next thing, everybody running helter-skelter. Bring oxygen, bring the defibrillator, bring this, rushing him to ICU, running helter-skelter. Bam! Before anything could be done to save the child, he was dead. Her only child, whom she had spent the last 16 years suffering for, depleting all her finances, the only thing she had in the world, laid dead before her. Life left her body. she collapsed.
There was nothing wrong with him, and I said, okay, let's just do his normal regular checkup. I took him to the hospital. The hematologist asked me, has he ever done blood transfusion? I said, we only did it, that initial time when he was young. I said, we did it when he was like 3+. I said, okay, now he's 16, plus. Let him do blood transfusion just to, boost his blood. I said, fine. So they said, okay, I needed to go and pay for the blood. So I went to go and pay for the blood. She gave instruction to a student doctor. So instead of the student doctor to do blood transfusion, the student doctor did blood extraction and removed 3 pints of my son's blood. So by the time I came back with the blood, I saw that my son had turned yellow. It was getting jaundiced. And that's how they said they want to carry my son to ICU. Long story short, the doctors came. They were bringing oxygen. Long story short, that's how my son died.
2 weeks later, in September the 5th, 2017, Eucharia faced every parent's worst nightmare. She put her only child under the ground, and she claimed that even in death, his father neither asked of him nor attended his burial.
I like to say, by the way, the father never asked of him, asked about his death till as I sit here today, 29th of January, 2026. He never asked, this is my son. He never contributed. He never called.
The loss of Raymond was the darkest moments of Eucharia's life.
Chimnonso, you were the best gift that God gave to me. And I love you with all my heart, my soul, spirit, and body. Thank you for making the world call me mother. But above all, I want to say thank you for making people to know about Jesus. I bless you. And I know you've gone. I'm totally broken. But I rejoice because you love Jesus with all your soul, spirit, and body. And I also want to use this opportunity to tell everyone out there, every parent, daddy and mommy together, the best gift that you can give to your children is to tell them about Jesus. It's all about Jesus. Thank you so much. God bless you, Mom.
She had no marriage, no husband, no family of her own, no child. She had every reason to break and give up on life. But rather than allow her situation consume her, she leaned even deeper into her faith. Having already answered the call to ministry years earlier, she devoted herself fully to evangelism, preaching, teaching, sharing messages of hope and resilience to thousands of people. While doing that, she continued pursuing personal growth, earning advanced academic qualifications, including a doctorate, an academic doctorate degree, and actively transforming her pain into purpose. This story is a story of resilience. It is a story of love, loss, and the painful consequences of the choices that we make. It is a story of faith, the kind that keeps a person standing when life has brought them to their knees. It is a story of falling, rising, breaking, healing, and finding purpose through pain. It is the true life story of Eucharia and ANUNOBI. Let us share our thoughts, lessons, and prayers down in the comment section. So guys, yes, we have come to the end of today's video. If you are new here, you are seeing my face for the first time, or if you've been watching us without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It's down there and it's free. Give this video a big thumbs up. Drop your thoughts down in the comment section. Join our storytelling masterclass if you're interested in mastering the art of storytelling, and stay glued for we have so much more coming your way. It's me, your girl, Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in our next one. For now, bye.
So when you grow in God, it makes you to understand that everything is temporal. So there's no need killing yourself. Therefore, you come to understand that if you lose a loved one, yes, you love them, but because you have grown in the Word of God that tells you the body is what has gone, but the spirit is not gone. The spirit and the soul has gone to the one that gave, and then you will still have connection with that spirit someday. So when you grow to that level, then getting unnecessarily edgy about things upon the face of the earth makes no sense. There are lots of, beautiful treasures of the memories that I have in my heart about him. And I know, because the word of God says, I will see him again.